In this session, let's focus on basics of dividend. What is dividend? Dividend is basically a portion of profit after tax which is distributed to the owners of the business. So if you distribute a portion of profit which is available after tax to the owners, it will be called as dividend. It means there can be some portion of profit after tax which is not given to the owners, and that would be retained in the business, and it will be called as retained earnings. So when you have profit after tax, you basically have two choices. One is to give it to them, give it to the owners in the form of dividend, and the other one is retained within the business in the name of retained earnings. So why dividend is very important, or why understanding dividend is very important? See, dividend is basically an important aspect of the corporate financial policy of the business, because by declaring the dividend or by not declaring the dividend, you are taking the major corporate financial decision. How? If you have the profits, and if that profits are going to be declared as a dividend, then to that extent you have to part with the cash that is available in your business. And in the immediate future, if you need cash for meeting any expansion of your business, then in such case you have to go for raising fresh funds from the market. And when you raise fresh funds from the market, it will not come free. Number one, it will have an issue cost, and it will also carry higher expectations. So the return expectation will also be more. So by declaring the dividend, you are now taking an extra step or extra effort. That is, you have to make fresh issue of shares, which is going to come with the issue cost, and it will also have additional return expectation. So in the place, if you had not declared the dividend, this cash would have been available for meeting your expansion or meeting your other requirements. So here you have to take a decision whether you should declare dividend or you should not declare dividend, or whether you should fund your future project with the cash which is otherwise available, or you should go for fresh funds. So everything is linked to dividends here. That's why the dividend decision is considered as one of the major decision which a CFO has to take. CFO has to take basically three major decisions, like how the capital budgeting is going to be done, that is for capital expenditures. Then he should take major decision for capital structuring, and the other major decision which he takes is dividend decision, whether to declare the dividend or not to declare the dividend, and if you want to declare the dividend, then how much you should declare, how much you should retain, and so on. So that's about the dividend. Let me give you certain basic terms associated with dividend. We know that dividend is nothing but the portion of the profit after tax which are paid to the owners of the business. But what we have to understand is that dividend can be paid in quarterly intervals, they can also be paid in half-yearly intervals, it can also be paid annually. When you pay the dividends in quarterly or half-yearly intervals, it will be called as interim dividend. When you pay them on quarterly or half-yearly intervals, it will be called as interim dividend. And dividend is expressed as a percentage of face value. It is expressed as a percentage of face value of the shares. In that case, we call it as a dividend rate. That percentage will be called as dividend rate. We can also express the dividend as a percentage of market value of the share. In such case, it will be called as a dividend yield. That percentage of market value will be called as dividend yield. And dividend is basically paid out of the earnings, which is profit after tax, right? It is paid on the earnings. This earnings is nothing but profit after tax. So the portion of dividend, or the proportion of the profit after tax which is used for paying dividend, that proportion or that percentage will be called as payout ratio, right? That proportion will be called as payout ratio. So these are all certain basic terms. We'll go deeper in subsequent sessions.